Hi everyone, it's Jan with What You Make It, and you are watching the second half of my tutorial on how I made these magnetic storage boards where I'm going to organize my movers and shapers dies. If you are just now joining me, hop back over to the first half so that you can catch up on where we are. So far we have done some alcohol inking on the board itself and printed our tissue paper, and now we're going to start adding some depth and color. So thanks for joining me. Enjoy. I put another coat of the multimedium on top that helps the paper become a little more translucent, lets you see some of the things that are some of those wonderful mottled effect underneath there, and any place that it looks a little too white, I'm going to add some more multimedium on top of that so that just gets nice and translucent. I love how those colors are showing through already. There's a lot of depth in there. The other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray it while it's still kind of wet with some Perfect Pearls mist. I love this product. It's just going to give it a bit of shine and will allow us to make some more dimension. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to dry this off. I'm actually going to use my heat gun, and again, it's like watching grass grow if I make you watch me do that. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I'm back and it's totally dry, and you can see there's just a beautiful sheen to it, and part of that is the silver metallic steel underneath that kind of gives it a little bit of sheen, and then by adding the Perfect Pearl mist it also does that. So I just want to quickly show you how I get the edges cleaned up. I take my sanding block and just pull them down the edge there. I'm not going to make you watch me do it, but when you do that, then it makes that edge nice and clean. So I'll do all of that and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so now we have it to this place that our edges are all cleaned up, and you've got options at this point. Again, just like before we put the tissue paper on it, I loved how that mottled look. You could have stopped right there. I'm really liking how it looks with the little subtle botanical print on it. And we could leave it right here and it would work great. But I'm going to go just one more step. I'm going to take my little pokey tool. All of these have a little hole in them that you can hang either it on a nail, a hook, or put some ribbon through it and hang it on your wall. So I'm going to add just a little bit more, but again, we don't want to add a lot of layers because we want the magnets to be as close as possible to the metal. But I think the way that I'm going to get my butterflies on there is to take my Tim Holtz tissue tape and just put a few pieces of butterflies on here. Again, it's very thin and it will add dimension without a lot of thickness. And again, I am being very random about this. Truth is, it's going to be, most of it will be covered up once I get my dies on it. And I think groupings sometimes are good, a short and a long, close together. That's good. So I'll put one down there, and I'm going to put one little one where there's just a little butterfly, maybe right here. Again, you can't make a mistake. Just have fun and play. I'm going to bring one more piece way down here. Let it be kind of long. This would also be the point at which, if you wanted to take your shapes that you have cut with your dies and put them on, go ahead and do that at this point too, because we're going, when you get all of that last layer of whatever, all I'm going to do is put this tissue tape on here. But if you put the little pieces, the shapes down to kind of tell you where to put your dies back in place, we're going to do one more layer of the matte medium on top of that, and so you do all of that at once. But here's what there's two other things I'm going to do before I do my final. I'm going to color this tissue tape just a little bit so that I have some spots of color on here. I'm using tumbled glass, and now I'm back to my Ink Essentials with the foam, and I'm just going to rub that color into that tape. And again, I'm not worrying so much about it, just pushing some of that color down into that tape just so there's a little bit of contrast. Gives it, again, some visual interest without there being, I'm just going to color the outside of this, and then I'm going to go in with some spice marmalade and some wild honey. I'm using a makeup sponge because I couldn't find there's that spiced marmalade. Doesn't that pop really nicely? I'm going to put a little bit of that up here as well. And then I'm going to get a little bit wild honey and just bring it in from this edge so it kind of goes from the yellow to the blue. Okay, so give that a little minute to dry, and then we're going to come back and finish this. Okay, so again, another way that we could add a little bit of texture is to give the edges maybe some darkening. And I keep using all the techniques that I've shown you recently because, you know, you remember an idea and you kind of take it out of the idea closet. Again, I'm using Stays On Timber Brown and my Stipple Distress. If you have not seen, if you're not familiar with this, I do have a video called Stipple Distress Technique. So I'm going to put some ink on my stipple brush, and I've torn the edge of some paper. You don't want this to be like typing paper. You want it to be, you know, cardstock thickness so it can kind of withstand a little brushing. And then we're going to come in here and use our stipple brush to add just a little bit of depth of color. It's going to give kind of a torn edge. Look, do you see? You're able to see how that does? And we just work our way down, moving our paper and using our brush, and you can determine how far in onto your board you want it to go. I want it to go in varying depth. Now that we've finished our edging, distressing our edge, I'm going to put one more coat of the matte medium on top of it. This now is acting as a sealer. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back when I've finished this and have dried it. So you could stop right here. There's no reason to do anything else. Put a ribbon on it, throw it on your wall, and get your magnets on it, because it's ready to go at this point. I guess part of me just doesn't know when to quit, but I'm having fun, so I want to keep playing. So I'm going to add just a few more little things of texture, bring some stamped images on top of all of this. This tissue, the stamping we did on the tissue tape, on the tissue paper, has actually kind of picked up the color that was behind it, and so we can do something that's a little more bold. And I'm going to use, again, my Stays On, and I'm just going to use some stamps and put a few little leaf branches around just to kind of keep that there. And we will, oh, one other thing I want to do, I want to take some flourishes and put some flourishes on here. Because I used that blue, that touch of tumbled glass, I want to put a little bit of blue on here, and I'm going to use the teal blue. I'm going to do very little of it. In fact, I'm going to use just this end of the stamp put just a touch. You're not gonna, it's not gonna bowl you over or anything, but I just think I need just a little bit, a little pop of that color, just to make those other blues appear that they are meant to be. At this point, you are ready to put some ribbon through here, or just hang it on your wall, because now your magnets are ready to stick. So I hope that this has been a fun tutorial for you. When I put it on my blog, the sneak peek to the other one that I did, this one, I had quite a few folks contact me about getting me to make one for them, or about getting the metal plates. And I'm happy to do either one. I will work on getting that set up on my blog so you can order either a collage version, a printed tissue version, or if you want to buy the metal plates. I know that they're really hard to get, and because when I was doing the advent calendar, I searched all over for something that would work. I tried cookie sheets and all of those sorts of things, and there was so much aluminum in them, there wasn't enough iron to make magnets stick. And these are heavy, comparatively heavy to the other things, so you really want it to be a good stick. And you know, normally I'm not selling things on my website, but I know that maybe you would like me just to make one for you, or maybe you would like to get the metal to do that. So check out my blog. I will set up a way for you to order the blanks, or to order a collage or printed tissue paper. Anyway, great to be with you all again. I know this has been a bit of a long tutorial, but it was a fun project, and so many of the techniques that we used on here you can transfer over to one of your other projects. I hope you're having a great week, and I want you to be sure to take some time to play. Bye.